Ukraine has been given a tremendous amount of without our military and our equipment, Ukraine wouldn't be alive to fight today.
The other side does not have its own production of the types of weapons that Russia possesses. These include hypersonic weapons, cruise missiles, a full range of them, and a number of other weapons that no other country possesses, such as the Oreshnik medium-range missile, which has been much discussed. We are developing other weapons as well.
Does Trump know Putin's next move as US troops leave Europe in a hurry? Washington appears to be moving fast, leaving Europe guessing as anxiety spreads across NATO capitals. Uncertainty is growing over US support for allies as Putin hints at weapons yet unseen. The US military is reportedly waiting for Pentagon clarity on troop deployments. There appears to be confusion within US forces after Trump's remarks on troop levels in Europe. The Associated Press made the revelation, citing 2 US defense officials, according to TASS. NATO allies were reportedly left bewildered after Trump spoke of sending 5,000 US troops to Poland. The announcement came just weeks after he ordered the withdrawal of the same number of troops from Europe. TASS News reported, and I quote, "Associated Press believes that uncertainty over Washington's plans affect servicemen's lives and may potentially cost millions to US taxpayers." Unquote. The Trump administration says the reduction in the US presence had been planned in advance and communicated to allies. The revelation came as Trump said Ukraine would not have had a chance without the United States. Putin also appears to be hinting at unseen weapons as uncertainty clouds peace efforts.
President, are you worried that China is funding an anti-data center movement here in the
No,
U.S.?
I'm not worried about it. We had a great meeting with China. And, you know, they do things to us and we do things to them. I say it all the time. They say, oh, are you worried about China tapping your phones? I said, well, you know, they're worried about the same thing. No, we're very highly sophisticated. We've become very highly sophisticated. We had 4 years. I rebuilt the military. We had a military that was not good, and we rebuilt it. And I didn't know I'd use it quite as much, but we used it. Ukraine has been given a tremendous amount of our without our military and our equipment, Ukraine wouldn't be alive to fight today. You know, I mean, just in terms of the question, we gave them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of equipment, and the best equipment. We make the best equipment anywhere in the world, but they wouldn't have lasted 1 or 2 days. They wouldn't have been able to do it. Remember the anti-tank missiles? Remember that, right? When the tanks got stuck in the mud, and then they went around and boom, 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 and those were given by yours truly. They said Obama gave sheets and Trump gave the anti-tank as one of the most devastating weapons. But you check that out. But we have the greatest military. We have the greatest military equipment anybody's ever seen before.
On the modern warfare of drones, which have created such a horrible distance between, let me say, the perpetrator. I don't want to say the soldier because it's not always a soldier. And the target. There is now a sort of technical, artificial distance which is creating a new form of cruelty. And we don't anymore have any sort of code of honor between the parties. It was different still in World War I. How do you see this modern warfare in which the Russian army and the Ukrainian army have gained special experience?
As for modern technology, including unmanned aerial vehicles, unfortunately, yes, that is the case. This is the new reality. For the most part, of course, drones, are supplied to Ukraine from Western countries. All that is required is to assemble them. I would like to point out that, unlike the Ukrainian armed forces, Russia possesses everything it needs to develop its capabilities domestically. This includes its resource potential, its scientific and educational institutions, that is, its human resources, as well as a well-developed industrial base and the capacity to implement all the plans that the Russian Federation has set for itself in this regard. The other side does not have its own production of the types of weapons that Russia possesses. These include hypersonic weapons, cruise missiles, a full range of them, and a number of other weapons that no other country possesses, such as the Oreshnik medium-range missile, which has been much discussed. We are developing other weapons as well, but I cannot disagree with you that if the most dangerous means of waging armed conflict, particularly for the civilian population, emerge, then the international community must, of course, consider how to restrict their use, and above all with regard to civilians. This is completely unacceptable, and I believe it constitutes a humanitarian crime, but this is a topic for a separate discussion involving experts and representatives of the international community.
The United States is reportedly considering deploying nuclear weapons across additional NATO countries in Europe. The move is said to be aimed at reassuring allies as Washington rethinks its broader military posture. US officials reportedly want allies to understand that reduced conventional support would not mean weaker security guarantees. Reports say American officials have shown openness to deployments beyond the 6 countries currently involved. People briefed on the discussions said the issue is being examined as part of wider NATO planning. The debate comes amid concern over possible US cuts to troop levels and critical weapon systems in Europe. The broader idea is to show that the American nuclear umbrella would still remain in place. Sources cited by Financial Times said, and I quote, "It would potentially allow more countries to host so-called US dual-capable aircraft, DCA, which are able to deliver nuclear strikes. Countries on NATO's eastern flank, including Poland and some Baltic states, were interested in potentially hosting DCA bases. Discussions were ongoing in NATO channels. Allies closest to Russia's borders had shown the most interest. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and repeated remarks by President Vladimir Putin about the Kremlin's nuclear capabilities had catalyzed interest among some allies in playing host to DCA unquote. Polish officials have previously spoken publicly about wanting to host nuclear weapons. At present, Belgium, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Turkey, and the UK are the countries associated with NATO's current dual-capable aircraft posture. US nuclear weapons stationed in Europe are stored and guarded by American personnel. The debate is unfolding as Washington pushes European allies to spend more on defense while also reconsidering its own troop footprint.